Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Cheers. All right, then. Hi there, I'm Abby Hagyard. She said, looking away from the camera. Why do I do that? I'm Abby Hagyard. This is my little oasis in the sky. Out there, it is snowing this way and this way because it knows the topic today. All right, so I'd like to welcome everyone back, and can't post some messages. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. Just so that you know, I'm on a hub recording platform, and so I have this screen, and I have my camera, and I have my net, and then along the side, things come up to talk to me, you lovely people, and occasionally an alarm from the system. So if I diversify, good morning, Miss Maggie, how are you? If I suddenly look away, it's because somebody clever and wonderful, like Miss Maggie, has just sent me a little hello. So the weather here was what we would call, what on earth are you doing? Most of the day. And at one point when I left here and I walked out, I couldn't see anything. It's not because it was white outside, it's because the window panes in my windows looked like they were made of, that pebbled glass that they use in bathrooms. It looked like my whole, because we had a freezing rain event yesterday. It was supposed to continue for several days, and now it doesn't know who it is. So what we're talking about is commitment issues today, because, and that sip of coffee with a little hot chocolate in it a second ago was a good idea. Oh. Normally I forget to do this. Today I was thinking about it all the way into the office. And it's this: every time someone on one of these platforms hears about it, trips over it, and decides to check it out, and then comments, stays, and in some way makes it known to whoever the tech foo-foos are that they paid attention. It's a very interesting experience inside. It's gratifying. It's gratifying that somebody took the time. It's a very kind of, oh, they thought of me, sort of thing. But it's also, okay, this is working. And we don't get a lot of that anymore, because we have opted for a kind of a virtual role, a spectator role, a disconnected role, whether intentionally or it just kind of has amounted to that. We don't get that kind of rush, that kind of frisson, beautiful word in French. We don't get that sort of tingle that feels like connection, that feels like belonging. And underneath all of those things, it feels safe. I don't know how many of you are involved actively in the concept of strategic selling, strategic communication, strategic marketing. That adding strategic to it means on purpose, deliberately pointing, as opposed to, what the hell? I tried the green one last week. And so what everybody is really doing when they're making their decisions, they think they're making the decisions here because thinking is what is going on. There is a whole other part of us that is the normal way that our body, our system, our us operates. And that's kind of on a subconscious level. And the whole function of the subconscious level is stay alive. And the best way to stay alive is to keep doing the thing that has worked so far. Even when the thing that has worked so far is no longer working as well as it did, we tend to choose that because it's a known as opposed to the great unknown. So the conversation today about, I think March may have commitment issues, it was not merely predicated on the fact that it was close to 70 degrees and sunny here in the Great White North on Tuesday, was it? And then on Wednesday, it changed its mind. And, we laugh and we say, oh, it's wrong coat weather, because it doesn't matter what you brought. So the trunk of your car has that full range of everything. There's Bermuda shorts and flip-flops and that cute tank top that you've been meaning to lose weight to get into. And then beside it, there's the spring and fall clothing. And then there's the Arctic hybrid clothing that has, minus 40 degrees potential. And good morning, Kelly. How are you, my dear? Your brother posted yesterday that it was an interesting drive to work. I can't imagine. So the people who didn't have to travel shouldn't have traveled. And in the middle of the morning, I got a phone call from the car dealership where I bought my beautiful copper beast, and it's a real person. It's not and it's a guy, and he said, I can almost quote him, "Hello, this is Abby," and I thought, I'm sorry, what? And he said, we're just calling to check. So this is Abby. We, by the way, no, you're not. We're just calling to check that you're going to be joining us for the customer appreciation barbecue this weekend. I said, are you at the dealership? And he said, why? And I said, did you want to look out the window? And then there's a silence. He said, oh. I said, thank you for thinking of me. I won't be coming. I hung up and I thought, why did he say this is Abby? On top of everything else. Completely distracting, completely upside down, completely confusing, because he hadn't made a decision before he punched the number. He hadn't made whatever the decision was that he needed to make. He clearly didn't make it. He just kind of went for it and was tap dancing all his way through it. And he needed to go to more tap dancing sessions, right? So what I want to talk about in terms of commitment issues is a couple of things. And on my way in with my coffee, I thought of 3 words. And I think this week and probably the month of March should be brought to us by hither, thither, and dither. Hither, thither, and dither. Because we're not choosing, we're waiting to be chosen by the thing, by the circumstance, by the last minute, oh, hell, yes. And that so seldom goes well. And yet, what it does, because when I look at it and I think, what are you? And the thing is that when they don't make the decision is made by whatever other forces are involved, and they don't have to take responsibility. They think it wasn't mine. It's not okay. But you do pay a price when you do that, because you never get to own anything you really want. You never get to be able to say it's a spike the ball moment. There are very few spike the ball moments after, oh, I don't know. What are you having? Are you? Yeah. The other thing about dithering, about not deciding, about staring at 3 choices is too many choices. Take a choice off the page, take a choice off the menu, take a choice off the list. Well, good morning, Anders. How are you? It's so nice to see you here. What we're talking about, Anders, what is flailing in the distance is our inner child at the fact that we are resisting the requirement to choose, to opt in or out, but pick one. And there's a bunch of guides, gurus, navigators, coaches, and it's very popular to say a number of things today. Let them is one. Try not. You cannot control other people. They're going to do what they're going to do. Let them. Well, how does let them factor into it if they're going to do it anyway? What they mean by let them is give up your angst when you have no control. The fact is, though, while these are very well-intentioned recommendations, we are wired to survive. We are wired to weigh the risks and make decisions. A CEO, you know what a CEO makes? Decisions. You know what a CEO makes? Decisions. Do you know what a CEO makes? Decisions. Do they make anything else? No. Why are they making decisions? Because their title is Chief Executive Officer, executive function, execute the plan. Have an idea, create a plan, do it. Think, plan, do. The Chief Execution Officer, the Chief Executive Officer, thinks the think, plans the plan, does the do. And each one of us is the CEO in our little corner of the world. You lie in bed in the morning waiting for something to propel you out of bed. Mel Robbins said that she was doing that until she was horribly in debt and loathing the very thought of herself, until she was watching a rocket ship take off on television, and she was listening to the countdown, and she said that's what I'm going to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And go was get up. Go was choose, because she needed to have some kind of a trigger mechanism to actually pull, a button to push, something that she could work herself up to and go, no, because she was dithering. She was really reluctant. And when somebody says behavior is a language, yes, it is. When people cannot choose, do not choose, will not choose, their language is, I don't know what that word means. I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to express the way I feel. That's my language. I'm showing you that I completely have no idea what to do next. Right? So this commitment issue, all the things that are causing it, all of the increases in this and that and the other thing, all of the things decided and rated as a good idea by people who work at the Department of Unintended Outcomes, has succeeded every year in baffling us in the spring and the fall, sometimes in the summer, often in the winter. Why? Because it's nature and things change. We would like things to be very, very predictable, rigid, controlled, so we don't have to make the decisions. But it's not how it works. We are survivors. We are granted creatures of habit because the habits have kept us safe. However, we are survivors first. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We're not exactly the strongest player on the team. How we survive. And yes, think outside the box. Definitely, Kelly. Somebody once said, You don't even, the way you are, how you live, you don't even know there's a box. And then they said, no, wait, no, I take that back. You know exactly that there's a box and how many of them, and you can't stand the boxes because it means you're going to move. That's why you're always outside the box. And they weren't wrong. And they weren't wrong. So today, the conversation is this. Dear March, that's right. Dear March, pick one. Because if you don't have a car, you have to carry so much stuff with you on public transit just in case the weather changes in a minute. And it seems more trouble than it's worth, except that I have to leave the house for any number of reasons. So if we're talking about commitment issues, then we get to segue to my very favorite thing to discuss. And I have it right here in front of me, and I'm going to show you what it is. This is the almost ready, but not quite, for its line edit content for book 1 of the 8-book collection of Pivotry in Motion. 2:45 in the morning. I said, that's enough of that for tonight. I'm just going to put this over here. So this is what it tends to look like before we have all my sobbing and my crayons and my food spatter all over the pages. This is the 8th version, rendering it down into its substance. So in case you thought I was just making it up about these books, this is what all the books start out looking like. They start out on regular paper. You can see that there's an outline. That the outline around it isn't going to be the outline in the book. That's the size of the page. So the outline tells you that this is a medium-sized book. It's the same size as Fame, for those of you who have the same size as Unsuitable, same size as Vicarious. It's a handy, beautiful, wonderful soft cover. So that's exciting. My commitment, my dithering, is the product of, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get it out of your head and onto the page. It's a lot of work to go back once you get to the end or parts of it, and I'm going to stick this here and I'm going to put that there. You go back and you start reading, and at some point you find yourself saying, what the hell am I doing here? What was I trying to say? And you realize that, the flow, the free flow, needs guardrails. I'm just winging it, I'm just going with how I feel in the moment, is annoying to everybody else in the room, because uncertainty. And I think what it boils down to so much, the whole idea of Pivotry is not, I can't decide, so I'm going to go this way for a minute. The whole idea of Pivotry in Motion is making the decision, is reaching a point where going along to get along has outlived its usefulness. And finally, several parts of us say, you know what? Check, please. I could be other stuff. I might wait, but I've kind of done it. And when I walk to the next place, the next space, the next concept, it means I'm going to love you from afar. Heart-shaped line in the sand. I have more stuff, additional stuff to do. And this has outlived its purpose. For now, we can always circle back. In the moment, though, there's more stuff to do. And Pivotry in Motion is something that we didn't know was a process that we do. We didn't know that we were making actual decisions when we changed our focus and our purpose and our direction, when our passion was no longer a passion and it was just a process. It was just a pattern. And I see so many people, and I talk to so many people who say, I don't know, it used to mean everything, and now it's just kind of, eh. And I say, I know. And what we need then is to stop and say, What happened? What did I leave at home? What did I forget? What thing did I used to tell myself that I've stopped sharing with me? I got out of a habit of some kind and into another one that isn't working. And so what starts out for me with my clients is we're going to do this. And along the way, there are so many questions to ask that clarify the purpose, clarify the point of the exercise, clarify the why. Because without clarity, it's very hard to connect deliberately without being focused. And there's the spot, we have to turn left at the traffic lights. We can be driving in circles for hours and never find the Tim Hortons. Did we really need a donut? No, we really needed a bathroom, and we'll just get the donut on the way out. If we don't have some kind of a map, some kind of a concept of where we wish to be from this starting place, what are the odds that we make it? Slimmer than we like. So when Mother Nature can't decide, when March is flitting around like some kind of demented fairy, and we say to ourselves, okay, yeah, charming for you, but really getting annoying over here, it is because of the uncertainty and that it seems to have been visited upon us. It's that kind of double whammy. And the thing is, the uncertainty part is fine. But the seems to have been visited on us. That's a victim mindset. And I think that is really the driver behind our snarl, angst, sigh. It's because we don't like being helpless. Not really. Hang on a second. So I had a conversation the other day with myself. Self, I said, what are you doing? Because I kept looking at the clock. And I realized it at some point. And then I said to myself, oh, for heaven's sake, because I hadn't noticed I was looking at the clock. Except that every time I kind of looked away from what I was doing, I felt a kind of a tightness in my chest. And I wasn't really paying attention to it. And I thought maybe, if the coffee's not hot enough, I'll go reheat it, or maybe I'm hungry. No, I was looking at the clock because I was expecting something. And it wasn't happening. And I was becoming more and more fixated on the fact that this thing was not happening. And there did not seem to be anything I could do to change that. There wasn't a hammer. There wasn't a brick. There wasn't a weighted sock that I could apply to the situation to give me some sense of ownership, some sense of control. And when all of those things kind of filtered in while I was standing in front of the microwave waiting for the coffee, I said to myself, well, that's remarkably stupid. And it's remarkably stupid, not because it's wrong to care, not because it's wrong to anticipate, not because it's wrong to plan. It's remarkably stupid when I didn't plan for the dither. I had a plan for hither, and I have always a plan for thither, but I hadn't made a plan for dither. Dither is the indecision. Dither is external uncertainty whose ripple effects wash over me. I hadn't planned for that. And the thing is, I know better. Why didn't I plan for it? Clearly, if I planned, then I committed to some sort of action, some decision. I CEO'd it. if I didn't plan, if I'm dithering, if I'm trying to will it into existence, I'm trying to control something that isn't mine. If it were mine, I'd have done it and it would have happened. There's a very clever advisor type guy. He calls himself the mind architect. His name is Peter Crone. And there's a couple of things that he says that I quite enjoy. One is, how do I know it was meant to be? Because it happened. How do I know it might have been otherwise? Because it didn't happen otherwise. This is how it happened. That's how I know it's meant to be. Here it is. Anything else is a waste of your time. Anxious? Sure. Survival? Sure. Uncertain? Sure. What are you certain of? It happened. Is it happening now? No. So then what is happening now is our attachment to it. Is our attachment to it changing it? No. All right then. So all we have to work on is our attachment. We don't have to work on the thing. We don't have to work on the event. We don't have to work on what the outcome was. We have to work on our attachment to it. That gets a whole lot of stuff off our plate. Could we attach ourselves to something else? In the absence of it happening, what else has happened? Oh, I see. Well, do you realize that if that had happened, this would not have happened? Which would you choose? And he has these very calm and very, very charming questions that he asks people, and it brings them down from their anxiety. It brings them down from their I don't know, and I don't know, because that is all the fear of uncertainty and the lack of control. And if there's no one in charge and I'm in the cave and there's no one to keep me safe, then the saber-toothed whatnuts outside will eat me and I'll die. That's convoluted, but basically that's where we are. So when things don't make a decision, the the answer is, I see. You have made a decision. You have decided not to choose. You have decided to give your power away. You have decided to fling your power and your control and your outcome to the winds. Okay, then I will be here. I will not abandon you. I will keep on doing what I do. And you let me know when you're ready. You let me know if you feel I can help. But until you do, I'm here. I have things to do. Not more important, simply things to do. I am a CEO. I'm making decisions. And if I don't do that thing with you, then I do this thing instead. And one of the outcomes of something like that is something like this. Instead of having time, because the weather was lovely, to go off and do and be, I was editing. My outcome is I stayed in. The weather was very unsettled. It would have been potentially hazardous to be out there. By the way, I don't have shoes for that. I have made a conscious decision throughout my life not to have shoes for what that was. Oh, look, and I have shoes for that. No. So when I did not do that, I did this. Who wins? We all win. Whatever that was, did whatever it did. I did that. And this is our most delicate decision. Prioritizing. Because we are concerned that if we choose this, we might be wrong. So I want to suggest that there are two ways. Usually there are three. This time there are two. There are two ways to engage. And we cannot do both at the same time. So we will pick. We don't have to pick forever. However, this moment we pick. And that is your day today a sit-down meal or a buffet? And then all we have to do And for all the reasons, no justification required. Is your day today, excuse me, is your day today a sit-down meal or a buffet? All we have to do is let our people know. I'm buffeting today. All right. Well, get back to me when you're done. I will. Miss you, love you, me too, you. It's a sit-down meal today. Awesome. What time? And then we plan accordingly. If every day when we get up and we take stock of where we are and what's going on, and we make our decision, is it a sit-down meal or a buffet? We can change halfway through the day. It started out like this, but now I'm feeling that. Perfect. Let people know. Let people know. Why? Because people who love you are holding space. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel shame or blame. What you should feel instead is love, is gratitude, because they care, because you matter to them. It's not that they're selfless. It's not that it's pity or charity. They're not saving space because you deserve it. They're saving space because they deserve it. Because they say, I feel better when you're in my moment. And if you can't decide what you want to do, that's fine. If I'm certain, that just means I'm certain. If you're not certain, it just means you're not certain. So if you say, I'm in a dither, I can't decide between meal or buffet, I'll get back to you. Is it okay? And then we get to choose. We all get to choose. The thing is, choice is required. No decision is a decision. Action, inaction, both are decisions. If we give away our power, that's a decision. If we adopt a victim mindset where, oh, I just can't, so, and I meant that, that's a decision. Everything is a decision, including whether we take ownership. So when March decided to be whimsical, that was a decision. When it was hot and sunny and spring-like and people were walking around in flip-flops, I saw so many people in flip-flops on Tuesday. It was crazy, beautiful. T-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. On what day was it? The 10th of March. Incroyable. It just so amazing. And then yesterday, what the heck is that? A decision. A confluence, a cascade of coincidences. So the conversation today, because I'm in editing mode, and because Pivotry in Motion, the whole idea of the project actually does have three legs that it's standing on. One is that I wanted to combine acting and guiding other actors. And by actors, I don't necessarily mean interlaughing. I mean us. We are all actors on a stage. And I don't mean fake. I mean, we make our entrances. It's a Shakespearean thing, and each plays their parts. I am either on stage or I'm helping you get on stage and look like you know what you're doing when you're there. So don't know that that's a director necessarily. Could be any number of things, but I'm either the one doing it or the one helping you do it. And I wanted to put that together in a new path in my career. I began as somebody in marketing. I segued into performance. I fell sideways backwards and kept saying yes to contracts to be on television and stage. and they were wonderful. And then, as happens in show business, the flow becomes the ebb, and I turned to writing, and then I turned to ghostwriting, and then I turned to branding, and then I turned to author mentoring to help others say what they need to say. And now I'm ready to do a little bit more of the cast on stage in 15 minutes. So Pivotry in motion literally is what I have done. And the 8 sections, the 8 concepts within it are all designed to demystify what on earth is going on and why is this working or not working, and how do I fix it. Everything that people are asking for, concerned about, is predicated really on the fact that life doesn't come with an instruction booklet. And a lot of the people who taught us had no idea what they were doing because they didn't have a booklet either. So in effect, this is the instruction booklet. These are the instructions on how. How what? Just how. How everything. And I think you're going to love it. And I think you're going to enjoy the shows. I think you're going to enjoy the events. I think you're going to enjoy the interactions if you enjoy this. Because the only difference between this and what is coming is that you are actively participating. We are in this together. And we, thee and me, are going to continuously discuss, look at, laugh, shake our heads, hug each other on the hithers, the thithers, and the dithers. Because that's how it works. Because Pivotry and motion are us. So with that said, I have more editing. I have 7 other books waiting, going, when is it my turn? And so I'm going to get at it. And the weather's still a bit, I don't know. I just don't know. It's the weather right now. And so just be careful out there. And of course, I'm speaking from Ottawa, Canada. I know that there's unsettled weather. There's unsettled weather in the larger sense of the world pretty much everywhere. And in wrapping this up, I want to remind us of something essential. Connection is the underpinning of everything. We are connected. Our energies, the ripple effects, the action, the reaction. There is an ebb and a flow. I know it's going to start sounding woo-woo if I keep going in that direction, and that's not what I want to say. I want to say that for every action, there's somebody yelling at you that you hit their car. For every action, there is a response. There is some feedback, blowback, hitback. And so as we move forward, we set things in motion. If we forget that, if we think, I'm just going to stay, I'm going to opt out, I'm going to stay home, I'm going to scroll on my phone, I'm going to stay in bed, I don't care. Those are all decisions. Those are active decisions to be elsewhere, to not be here. The problem with that is this fundamental reality. Everywhere we go, there we are. No matter what we choose, we are there. Pick any scenario, any state of mind, any set of actions, any set of decisions, any set of outcomes, any set of positions. Everywhere we go, there we are. If we miss the bus and we're on the street corner and it starts to rain, there we are. If only I'd caught the bus. Did you catch the bus? No. Then it wasn't meant for you to catch the bus. You're here now. What's the next decision? It's like those video games, you know, when you get to the next level, what is your decision? What is your choice? The bus has moved on, so it isn't your choice to have caught it because you didn't. It's not a question of your fault. It's not a question of whose fault, because the bus has gone and you're not on it. You're here. You are in this moment. What is your choice? What is your decision? Here, now. If you choose not to make a decision, that's a decision. If you choose to stand here and be here and think about what might have been, that's a decision. It means that you're not there. It means you're choosing to give away your power here. If the next thing that happens is something upsetting, you gave your power away. You chose it. You chose to not be the one deciding. Isn't that interesting? So commitment issues, the secret is no matter what we do, opt in, opt out, dither, that's what we committed to. We're never not engaged, no matter how we try. It's crazy, right? And so therefore, from my point of view is, well, I'm here. All right then. Where's the feather boa? Where's the coffee with the hot chocolate in it? Where are the cute shoes? Where's that crazy person that I love to talk to on the phone? Where is this amazing book that I have to edit? I'm here. All right then. Let's do this. Because if I don't, I chose that too. And what self-respecting Viking does that? Okay, with all that said, I have no idea what the weather's going to be. It says periodically, oh, this. No, wait a minute. No, I've changed. And we're going to put the couch under the window with the. So I'm going over here. You do you. I'll do this. So no idea what the weekend is going to bring. No idea for certain, except one thing. I'm making a commitment to me to do it with intention, to own it. And on that note, I have to show you something that's going to make you laugh. It's going to make you smile, if I can find it. Okay, here it is. So I said to myself the other day, you know what I need? I need to do something that makes me laugh. So, and now of course I can't find it. Is that what's happened here? So what I did was I ordered this. I ordered my to-don'ts. And they arrived, and they're in a box, and I can't wait to take them out and start using them. What is a to-don't? A to-don't is a thing you pay attention to. Because when you list the to-don'ts, you know what's left? The things you want, the things you do. All right, be good to you. You deserve it. Remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. And thank you for committing the time. Thank you for prioritizing this in this moment. Even if you came upon me by accident, you stayed. And that means everything. That's commitment. I will catch you next time.